Well, hello there. How is everyone? You amazing, beautiful, wonderful people. I hope you are all well on this fantabulous Friday. You're looking absolutely amazing, by the way. So we had the hearing yesterday, the first hearing under Judge Hippler. Hip to the hip, hip to the hippity hop. Seems alright. He seems like a bit of a no BS judge. Absolute no BS, which is good. It's what it needs. Doesn't at the moment appear to be, I don't know, sucking off bad Santa like Judge John Judge clearly was. And hopefully we will see things move in a better direction from here on out. Had mixed emotions over Ann Taylor. On one hand, you know, we all want the trial to start. We believe that Bryan Kohbergers, they have kind of failed to show that he deserves to be in the position that he's in currently. That may come later, but currently it's all a little bit questionable. And Ann Taylor turns around and the prosecution wants the trial to be early in May, but then Ann Taylor wants the trial to be in September. So on one hand, you're thinking, fucking hell, you absolutely believe your client to be innocent of the crime, then why the fuck are you trying to push it to September? But then on the flip side of that coin, you've got a situation where Bryan Kohbergers, mitigation expert, after 18 months, sadly passes away, and now they have to replace that person, and that isn't going to be easy. And to be fair, they have to get this right. They do have to get the mitigation element of his defence up to scratch. You know, how can you expect to be an effective counsel if you don't have your mitigation in order? So I get it. It's frustrating. It does, if you don't fully understand the situation, the way the entire process has got to work, then it does leave you questioning things, and it will make some people think that perhaps Ann Taylor is not so strong in this courtroom, and is she having doubts about Bryan, and that this is going to have repercussions. And this is the danger of when these hearings are public and things can be extrapolated upon from the behaviour and the things that are said. But it's important to understand that a very important aspect of Bryan Kohbergers' team and their dynamic and how they've got to operate has been taken away, and that has to be replaced. But, like I say, we've got a situation where we have a new judge. The trial could move. Now, for those of you who've been around the channel and listened to the channel, you'll know I am hoping to attend, and I have a GoFundMe set up in place. So if you want to help, if you're interested in doing that, we've got a little while. It's not something you've got to do straight away, certainly not. But just know that if something does happen and the trial is moved and it is unable for me to go, then any single donation, every single buck that is sent will be sent back to the person who sent it. So do trust that. But yeah, I'm hoping to go and perhaps hook up with Lana from T&T as well. But what I will also have to point out before I go anywhere is, look, obviously the Goncalves family at the moment, and look, I know I've mentioned the Goncalves family a lot recently, and, you know, I've copped some flack for it because people are like, oh, it's just about attacking this family. It ain't just about attacking the family. It's about the understanding that it's not just about the Goncalves family. This entire situation has almost become Bryan Kohbergers versus Stephen Christie Goncalves. That's like the new Idaho 4 dynamic. And that's painful to watch, because it isn't just them who are the people who should be in the frame. It should be about everybody who was involved. Not just the fact that there was 4 victims, but 4 victims' families. Bryan Kohbergers' family, his mum, his dad, his sisters. There's a lot of people who have been affected by this, not just Stephen Christie Goncalves and Bryan Kohbergers. And the Goncalves family have almost become like the spokesperson for the entire crime. And it's not good representation for it. You know, it's not a good look when you've got a couple who have this army behind them who, quite frankly, and I hate to say it, well, I don't hate to say it because I'll just call it as it is, they are an army of fucking idiots. You know, the Goncalves family have put up about the trial and obviously said that it's a hard no, that they don't want Bryan Kohberger to be wearing his prison scrubs in the public hearings. Do you know what I mean? But the funny thing is this, right? And this is why it's important to pay attention. If Steve didn't think that it made any difference, you know, the evidence was there, this was all solid, it was just going to go to trial, and they were literally going to just prove and show the world that Bryan Kohberger did this, then clothes wouldn't matter. Clothes wouldn't matter. You know, Bryan Kohberger's defence team are afraid that putting him in a position that makes him look guilty is going to impact those around him, because he's already got a mountain to climb. He has already got a mountain to climb. And I'm going to prove that in a second. But Steve Goncalves, as equal as he's not willing to understand that Bryan Kohberger is entitled to a fair trial, and the fact that he shouldn't be considered guilty just by his clothes. People need to not concentrate on that, but concentrate on listening to what is being said and the evidence being presented. He must equally know that the clothing has an impact on the perception of people, or he wouldn't give a fuck. Stephen Christie wouldn't care. The fact is that they know that him appearing in these clothing will have an effect on the perception of the public against Bryan Kohberger, and they are hoping to leverage that, and that concerns me, it worries me. But, and I said I'll prove it, so I was looking through their comments, and this comment comes up, and there's somebody who turns around and says, basically, in fact, I've got it here, I'll read it. It says, it's his lawyer Anne who wants him in that suit because she thinks he's all perfect. But what's funny, his alibi has holes in it. The park is closed at night, can't get into it. Even court TV people said it too. And the weather was overcast that night too. Shitty. And I'm thinking to myself, this person, right, is supporting this family. This is what this family is surrounded by. This person doesn't even have the common decency to follow the case properly, to listen to everything. When Bryan Kohberger's alibi comes out, it is not stated that he, on this specific night, was at Wawawi Park stargazing. But yet the people who wanted to rubbish the alibi and make a joke and a mockery out of it, they attached this to it. So they could make a laugh and a joke about it, when in fact the defence team categorically stated that they were not putting Bryan Kohberger in a specific place at a specific time on the night of the crime, because ultimately it's not their job to do that. Not unless they absolutely can, and that is actually part of the alibi, in that we have Bryan Kohberger at McDonald's at 3:07 or 4:07 in a place 15-20 miles away, and we've got that. That's proof that's his alibi. When he can't, and he is just driving about, which is the statement that he was driving about on this particular evening, which again he could have been. There was a lot going on outside his apartment. We know he was a night owl. There was police and everything outside his place. Maybe he just jumped in the car and thought, fuck, I'll go for a drive. And to show that Bryan Kohberger was someone who did this, and this wasn't out of the ordinary, they just basically said that he would frequent these sort of areas. And sometimes he would go to Wawawi Park, which was something that was popular. It was a popular area for him to go to. And sometimes he would be out stargazing at night. It was just to show character. But people couldn't understand that. And you've got these idiots still to this day quoting court TV, and basically their belief is that Bryan Kohberger's a liar because it was cloudy on the night of the crime, so he couldn't have been stargazing, because that's what he said he was doing. And that's what the problem is. This is surrounding the Goncalves family, and this is what they're seeing every single day. And I would hope that they're paying more attention. But do you know what? The more I see this, the more I see it every damn day, and these comments being liked and love-hearted, it's just indicative of a family who are just being led and held by the hand by a load of people who are simply fucking idiots. If you're going to follow this case, if you're going to make public statements, if you're going to make things that are literally public record now, that's on, and people like Ann Taylor can screenshot that and show that in a courtroom, you need to damn well make that what you're saying is accurate. Because even if Bryan Kohberger is guilty of this crime, it's the fucking idiots like these that will allow him to walk. I'll catch you all tomorrow.